anything comes under a package, you stay away from it. When you are tearing anything, remember that you're tearing a piece of your liver. I'm not worried about this generation because I think we're not going to change this generation. At 2045, all these young kids who are like 5 years, 10 years old now, they're going to have the biggest boom of diabetes, heart disease, and stress-related things. I'm not even making it up.
Dr. Manickam, an expert gastroenterologist, a public speaker, and a content creator with more than 1.5 million subscribers. He specializes in gut health, time-restricted eating, and how to have fun with fasting.
So happy, look at the smile.
He is on a mission to reduce his medical income by 30% before 2030 by sharing intricate details about your gut microbiome, intermittent fasting, and ugly truths about ultra-processed food.
Weight gain is not the first step. Gut is the second brain. We have 100 trillion bacteria in each person. Everybody's 100 trillion is unique. It's like a fingerprint. So then, when it eats that bhajia, it secretes this hormone called dopamine right there in the gut.
So it craves for more.
This dopamine goes into the brain. It stimulates you to order more bhajia. So this vicious cycle keeps going. If you are craving for something, it might not be you. It might be that bad gut bacteria in your body.
It's almost like we are an influence of someone else.
How are you?
So nice.
Good, nice meeting you.
The idea of starting this podcast was not to create another informational channel, but to cut the information overload and, really bring precise, more honest content by keeping experts here. So the first season, we had one Ayurveda doctor. That episode did very well, where we spoke about gut a little bit, but that did very well, and that sort of gave us an input that gut is a very, very big problem and people are interested about it. And hence for season 2, we started searching for who is the best person to come here and talk about gut. And that's when we found you.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Thank you.
So Dr. Pal, when my team came to me and said, we have here Dr. Pal and, let's get him on to our channel. Let's invite him. He's the best person in the world to talk about gut. I went to your channel and I started consuming content and I was like, wow, here's a doctor who's bringing real science to people in a way that people can absorb. I found your content really simple and entertaining, and that's what I really liked. I also read this beautiful line which said, make yourself a priority.
Right.
And I think coming from a doctor made so much sense, because I am born in a family where everyone other than me is a doctor. And I feel that doctors are the worst people to take care about their health. They say everything to the patients, but they just don't know how to take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about how this giving yourself priority came from, and what is the story of you starting this channel?
Right. So I completely agree to the statement that doctors are the best hypocrites ever. So we say that weight loss is the best treatment. And then, we don't know how to do the weight loss ourselves. And then we talk about circadian rhythm, all these things, and we just don't follow either. And same thing happened to me as well. Same thing. I was born in a middle class family, wanted to settle down. And I went to US to 2006. From 2006 to 2015, I did my, MBBS, MD, General Medicine, Advanced Gastroenterology, Masters in Public Health. From 2000 to 2015 was my medical school. 15 years. Even Ram Vanvas was only 14 years. So, and then after that, I got settled in life, right? So education-wise, I had Paliniappan Manickam, MD, DM, AB, Gastro. There were like 8 letters right after my name. At the same time, I had 8 inches of my belly hanging out. All right, so
I can't believe that.
So it was pretty big. I was measuring close to 100 kilos, to a point that if I jump in a swimming pool, all the water will come out. So, so it was that big, and I didn't realize the damage that I was doing over the span of 15 years in this context of saying that, okay, education is priority, you need to settle down. Nobody ever told me in my circle. It's my fault as well. But in general, we have been focused so much on education, you need to settle down and everything. So I never saw a gym in my life. Even if I have to go to gym, my mom will be like, where are you going to gym? Don't waste time on gym, study, right? So you need to to become an eligible bachelor, you need to build your career and not your body. That's what, that's what the general consensus is.
Yeah, and that's ironical because what is life or career without good health?
Correct. That we didn't know at that time. I myself didn't know at that time. And the key point to this is, I'm a doctor. I keep repeating it even though I don't look like one. So, so then that really struck me at the time when this was around 2015, 2016. I finished everything. I started working as a full-time gastroenterologist in Sacramento, California area. And on one fine day, I started having palpitations while I was seeing a patient. And the patient, in the history of medicine, that's the first time that the patient asked the doctor, "Doctor, are you okay?"
I was waiting. I knew this had to sound funny. This cannot be serious with you. But I read about it, Dr. Pal. You went through a minor heart attack while you were seeing a patient.
Correct.
I read that about you, and
Correct.
I was waiting for you to come to
Right.
that.
Correct. So then I was sitting in the emergency room. I know all these people working.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're all my colleagues. Okay, I know them and I got the 5-star priority because that's my hospital. So people come and then I realized that it is just a matter of time that role is going to be reversed for other doctors. Just a matter of time. Because I know all these people, how they work. I know everywhere. They didn't follow anything different than what I do. All we are like big, energetic, desi, young guys, right? Finished medical college. We want to settle in life. I was like, are you guys thinking what is happening to me? Or you're just focusing on your work is so busy that you're not even realizing what is happening? And that was my turning point. I was sitting on the emergency room where all my colleagues were around me and they were just very busy treating me. As soon as I'm done, they went to the next patient. They were so busy that 1 hour of time actually gave me the real picture about what we're doing. Right? So then I realized that, okay, we need to change this. That's how the whole weight loss journey started. Then I realized that during the medical curriculum, none of the subjects, we learned about 30, 40 subjects throughout the medical school. None of the subject talked about how to lose weight. Can you imagine? And all these dietitians and nutritionists over there in the social media platform, if you look at it, they always say that doctors don't know anything about nutrition. And all the comments will be like, this lady is a nutritionist. What does she know? Let's go and talk to a doctor. I'm right here telling you right in front of you that doctors don't know anything about nutrition because it is not incorporated in the medical curriculum. And I always say that the medical system is rigged because the teaching to us is always about how to treat a disease.
Not how to prevent.
Not how to prevent. Not how to prevent.
I thought the best way to sort of get started is some myth questions. We've sort of listed here questions that we hear a lot around, and we need your help to tell us whether it's true, false, and sort of this would be the best way to start What the Health. Your body needs lassi or Pepsi to digest biryani.
I absolutely love the question. First of all, biryani after 8 p.m., you don't need lassi, you don't need Pepsi, no biryani at all. Okay. Before 8 p.m., it doesn't matter, but lassi is always better.
Makes sense. Do you validate the saying, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a beggar?
I don't. So I say eat breakfast like a prince, eat lunch like a king, and eat dinner like a beggar. Even better phrase is eat breakfast, but eat lunch like a big bodybuilder actor. And then you need to eat like a heroine for dinner.
Good one. Okay, 1 cup of curd prebiotic supplements can restore the damage caused by a whole day of eating junk.
Not true. No, this is not like, you committing a crime and then going to a church asking for forgiveness to the church father. It will not work that way.
Eating 30 veggie plants a week will increase the number of good bacteria in your gut.
Yes, it does. Significantly.
Eating ultra-processed food impacts children's brain development.
Absolutely. Not right away, but on long term.
By eating processed food, your body is prone to obesity and chronic heart diseases.
Yes. Oh, this podcast is easy. Yes, no.
So I think we're going to discuss a lot of these things through the podcast, and we thought the best way to start is
Oh, good.
stating them right up
Oh,
front so
super.
that people know if this is something that they should watch.
Oh, nice. They should watch it regardless.
Can we undo the gut damage from processed food by just not eating it? So let's say I stop junk and start eating healthy today onwards.
Yes, absolutely. That's the beauty of the gut.
Okay, great. So I think
We're all done?
we're done.
No.
Okay, so let's go to your weight loss journey, right? How did you really go about it? How did you then figure out how to lose weight?
So, as usual, I went on a. As soon as anybody, right? Anybody wants to do a weight loss, what is the first thing that they do? They go to gym. Okay, I did that. And I was in Sacramento, California. And I was living in an apartment. And that apartment is just filled with Indians. There'll be no white guy at all. Okay. If a white guy comes and knocks on the door, we open the door and we say that, sorry, there is no foreigner.
Okay. But I know exactly what you're saying because I visited that place.
Yeah. We just occupied California altogether. In fact, through the US. But the only time that you will feel like you are a foreigner is the apartment gym. Nobody will ever go there. Our people. I mean, in general, I'm just saying in general, few people are good. So even if somebody opens the door and they'll be like, oh, gym, I'm so sorry.
No, but I know what you're saying, right? I also, the first time I went to California, I saw people running on the road, which is not walking in their chappals or strolling that you see in India.
Correct.
Running.
Correct.
Right? And running at odd hours of the day.
Correct.
Which means it can be 12 in the afternoon.
Correct.
But if that's your time to finish your workout of the day, you finish. And that's when I realized that, okay, workout can be done any time of the day. So I think we have some catching up to do there.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I always say that I'm not against Western culture. You just take the good part alone, right? Good part is workout and running at odd times. Bad part is running without clothes. We don't want to do that. That's what they do in San Francisco. So you blend both together. So I always say that good thing about Western culture is workout. We need to adopt it. Bad thing about Western culture is their diet. Okay? And their toilet style. We don't need Western toilet and we don't need processed meat. These are the two main things I completely stay away from no matter what. And I also tell all my patients is that. But the concept is workout has never been a part of our routine. And when I started, I was in this gym and I didn't know what to do. So I started working out, running treadmill and all those things. The weight didn't budge at all. So then they said that, you try this diet. So I tried GM diet, keto diet, paleo diet, polio diet. You name it. Yeah. All right. So I tried everything. So then there was one point of time where, I see a lot of patients with fatty liver. So I was involved in this research where intermittent fasting was making a comeback. Not a exact intermittent fasting. It's something following our circadian rhythm. And I just got involved in this luckily because I have master's in public health degree in the past. So because I know statistics, so they wanted me to be involved in the study because I'm a physician and a statistician. So they wanted to do the data analysis and everything. So I was involved in the study. So you need to go and see all these mice groups. There were 2 groups of mice, okay? One group, they fed the exact same number of calories. So just for discussion purposes, let's say pizza and biryani, okay? And one group of mice got pizza and biryani from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. where the sun rose and then sun sets. The other group got from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Okay, so we followed it every 3 months. So, we will take turns. We come to the research lab, we open the mice, we weigh each and every mice. People back home in India, my mom was thinking that I'm a big doctor in America. But I was cleaning poop from the mice.
I'm really interested, curious to know what happened to the mice. And here's your joke.
So in 3 months' time, guess which group got obese?
I'm imagining the one that was fed in the night, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., got obese.
Got obese, yeah.
But what I'm really interested is
No,
to
that's
understand the delta.
Correct. That's a tricky question. Nobody got obese.
Oh.
The weight was the same,
Okay.
3 months. But the key thing was, if you measure your blood glucose level, the cholesterol level, the lipid level, everything was significantly less in the sunrise to sunset method. The liver enzymes came down like crazy. And this group, from sunset to sunrise, the glucose levels were up. They developed diabetes, but they were not gaining weight.
Mm.
When you follow this upon 6 months,
Mm.
it was a lot of time. 6 months, then you started noticing weight gain. So weight gain is not the first step.
Oh.
That's the key. So we need to catch the stuff before the weight gain happens.
Mm.
So then I realized that, wow, this is awesome. This is working. So we need to try this, right? So I said I tried it on my patients first. So then I started seeing all these fatty liver disappear on the ultrasounds. This was
Wow.
crazy. And people lost weight. And, people used to just, scold me in all my reviews on Google. If you type Paliniappan Manickam on Google review, they say that, Dr. Pal's hospital doesn't have good parking spots.
Okay.
But after that, the reviews just went sky high because they were like, wow, this is working and everything. Then I realized that, good, perfect. If it works for my patient, it should work for me as well.
Mhm.
So then I started implementing this slowly.
So tell me, what does a normal food routine day in a Dr. Pal's life look like?
So I learned from research and also from my research experience as well, that the method that I am trying to implement is not something new. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you just follow our ancestors. It is no different that, we are born from aliens, right? It has to be evolution from the ancestors, 400, 500 years ago. So what did they do? They woke up in the morning as soon as the sun rose. And they need to move, correct? And then they need to start hunting. And as you know, every day when they hunt, they're not successful.
Mm.
If you look at the data, they're successful in hunting animals or birds only 1 in 20 times. And what do they do remaining? They just ate plant foods, like berries, tubers, wild fruits and everything, right? Their fiber content is significantly high. And then, let's say they have a hunt and they need to have a heavy meal. They have to have before sunset. That's where the light is on. Right? And there is no LED lights, there is no laptop, there is no iPad, there is no iPhone, there is no Android, nothing, right? So they need to go and sleep. They have tons of melatonin at night, right? So what I'm trying to say is, ancestor rhythm, when you wake up in the morning, sunlight goes through the eye, stimulates the receptors in the brain and creates a wake-up cycle. And every cell in our hormone in our body has a sleep-wake cycle, similar to how we go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning. Every hormone has its own sleep-wake-up cycle. Basically, it just follows the sun. So you wake up in the morning, sun stimulates the hormone, you move, you eat plant-based food, preferably. And then key thing is, you need to stop eating after sunset. Only then the next phase of hormones, the next phase of cells will come into active stage after sunset. So there are 2 phases, sunrise to sunset and sunset to sunrise. Sunset to sunrise, the brain has to sleep, but everything else has to be awakened. And this is a beautifully orchestrated instrument that the God has created us. I'm a big fan of Maestro Ilayaraja. You know who Ilayaraja is? He's a big music director in India. Yes, he has done Bollywood music as well, but he is a big music director in Tamil Nadu. But he is very melodious, instrumental, all right? And there is this famous music director called Anirudh, who puts the music director. You know that?
Yeah.
You know Anirudh, you don't know Ilayaraja. Oh my God.
I see multiple people disappointed, but anyways.
So I said, it has to be a beautifully orchestrated melody like Ilayaraja, not like Anirudh. Anirudh always uses sound bass instruments. The sound comes whenever you are unexpected.
Okay.
So if you just follow this rhythm, right? Your body is so smart. Your body will take care of all the damage that you did during the day. It just needs some time to rest. And in this modern world, we just don't have the time.
Okay, great. On that note, Dr. Pal, there's so many questions that I have in my head that I want to throw at you. I'm going to start with gut, right? Explain us the basics of good health, good gut health, right? And I hear so much on the internet about prebiotics, probiotics, supplements. Some say you must have it, some say no, you don't have it. What is it that you think one should know to really go to a happy gut place?
So your gut is the second brain. All right. So we always say that this brain and this brain is connected. And that's why when you're in a stressful situation, what do they say? Or when you're trying to make a decision, you say, go with your gut. Right? And if you look at it, whenever people are stressed out, basically they
IBS. Lot of,
they use the bathroom very frequently because the first thing that people think that the first thing to figure out that in your body that you are not right is when your gut says something, right? That's what happens when my mother-in-law comes to my home. But it's good. So having a good gut health essentially means that you should have as much gut bacteria as you need, as you can in your gut. When I say gut, what comes to your mind?
Good question. I picture small plus large intestine.
Small plus large intestine. That's good because you are in this medical field, so you know that this is small, large. But many of them people think that it's a stomach. Stomach is the place where there is not that much amount of bacteria at all because it cannot live with the acid secretion, not that much amount of bacteria. Then it goes to small intestine, right? Small intestine has a little bit of bacteria because it needs to absorb the simple sugars. And then the biggest thing is your colon, okay? We have 100 trillion bacteria in each person. You have 100 trillion, I have 100 trillion, everybody here has 100 trillion. And the good thing is, everybody's 100 trillion is unique. It's like a fingerprint. You cannot choose your mom, you cannot choose your kid, you can choose your bacteria. That's the beauty of this, that you can tune the bacteria to a level that what you want.
Tell us more. I understand it's very important to have good gut bacteria. I also understand the more you have it, the better it is.
Correct.
Right? That's what I heard you say. How do you do it?
So let's talk about what does the bacteria does first. So then that will underlie the importance about why you should have good gut bacteria. So if now I say that, do this, do that, then doesn't make sense to many people where what is the scientific evidence behind it, right? So why are we worried about this good gut bacteria is, we usually say that your bowel movement has to be smooth, soft, and snake-like. So there are 3 S, smooth, soft, and snake-like. So that you don't have a snake bite with the bite that you eat. That's what I usually tell my patients. I have an icebreaker phrases for everything. So, okay. So
I don't think I can forget that even if I want to ever in my life.
So if you don't have the 3 S's, then it's a problem. You have some kind of problem with the gut bacteria. So what this gut bacteria does, it has both good and bad. It's like Marvel universe. You see Marvel movies?
Yes.
So all the good guys, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thanos, Hulk. All these are good guys. Bad guys is Thanos and the army. Okay, it is a battle between which good guys you're picking up and which bad guys are picking up. And it starts right from the birth. And the good thing is at least Marvel universe will be done pretty soon. This will not be done until the rest of your life. So this is a constant game that you're playing. And the more smarter you are, you get more of your Iron Man, Hulk, Superman, Spider-Man kind of thing. The more riskier you are, then you take Thanos and you're just waiting for that one snap.
What happens if I have more bad guys than the good guys in my gut?
So when there are more Thanos, there are a lot of snappings happening. So this bad gut bacteria, they're not sitting there just because they have to. It's a symbiotic relationship. They need us, we need them as well. So whenever you eat, you feed yourselves first. Then you need to feed the bacteria. If not, the bacteria will eat your own stuff. and then starts dictating what it wants. So you need to dictate what you want from the bacteria. So that is the bottom line. So when the bacteria, when you eat something, for example, let's say, what is your favorite food?
Orange.
Orange. Super. Wow. Your favorite food is orange? Usually I say favorite food is like bonda, bhaji, something, pav bhaji.
I thought I just have to say fruit.
Fruit.
I was being safe.
She's saying
in
because
front
I'm a
of you.
gastroenterologist, that's why she's saying all these good things. So let's say you said orange, right? So orange. So you eat orange, okay? Orange has complex fibers, correct? Complex sugars. It has simple sugar, complex sugars as well. So what does is, it's a good choice of orange because you're feeding yourself with that simple sugar and you're feeding the gut bacteria with the complex sugar because you cannot digest the complex carbs based on the genes what you have.
Now I understand. Now let's take something which is very unhealthy as an example here. Let's say I have bhajia.
Bhajia. Bhajia means what? Pav bhaji?
Okay, pav bhaji.
Pav bhaji. Okay. You need to tell me what is bhajia after, okay?
Bhajia is like pakoda, bhaji.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Forget about pav bhaji. Let's talk about bhajia. Okay, bhajia, right? So bhajia, if you look at it, there's no fiber at all, right? And, there are carbs, but there are like simple carbs because it's like flour. Unless you add some more vegetables into it, there is no way that's going to be fibrous or complex carbs. So what happens is when you eat bhajia, all the bhajia get digested in the small intestine altogether. And all this bacteria like eats up and then gets absorbed. And that's it. There is nothing going into the large intestine at all. So what does this large intestine bacteria do? It starts eating the bhajia as well. Correct? So then when it eats that bhajia, it secretes this hormone called dopamine. Right there in the gut.
Wow.
And that gut is connected to the brain. So that's why I said...
So it craves for more. So
this dopamine goes into the brain. It stimulates you to order more dopamine. Order more bhajia. So this vicious cycle keeps going to a point that if you are craving for something, it might not be you. It might be that bad gut bacteria in your body. We proved this in our research. We took some group of mice. We took the taste buds off. Okay, we took the taste buds off. So the mice will not be able to differentiate whether this is a pizza or bhajia or broccoli. Okay. So we gave this pizza and broccoli for 2 weeks. And you will not believe, after 2 weeks, when you give pizza and broccoli to the mouse, the mice actually chose pizza over broccoli, even though there is no taste at all. Right? So that's how powerful the bad bacteria is.
Wow. I think it's almost like we are an influence of someone else.
Correct.
Here and not making the right decision.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I've personally observed this a lot of times when when you go in on an unhealthy track, it's a negative spiral that the more unhealthy. So if I eat an unhealthy breakfast, a heavy breakfast, carb heavy breakfast, I feel hungry sooner than I normally do.
Correct.
And then I also crave for more carbs after more carbs.
Correct. Absolutely. Because all these are simple sugars. Simple sugars gets absorbed easily in small intestine. So the key to this is each and every food that you put inside your mouth, you just need that. You need to understand that there are two people that you need to feed. One is for yourself and the other one is your bacteria. And your bacteria is under your hands to figure out which kind of bacteria that you want to grow. If you keep eating pizza, if you keep eating breakfast cereals, processed food, ultra processed. Processed food is okay. Ultra processed food like ice cream, pizza, pasta, all those things. Then you develop this gut bacteria in and around pizza burger era. And you introduce broccoli, your body will not like it. Because your body will choose the path of least resistance unless you're very conscious about it. And that is why our body is tuned to be attracted to high calorie, high dense. And that is not our problem. That's our ancestors' problem. Because they didn't have food. So they will, whenever they had sugar, whenever they had fat, they absolutely loved it. Because they store it in their fat body and then they use it later. But that is not the problem over here now today. Food is not a problem at all. You close your eyes, Swiggy man is right at the door. Right. I put a video on intermittent fasting, all right, on my YouTube channel. there is a Swiggy ad comes in between. People click that link.
Not good for, or rather good for Swiggy.
Yeah, and then they say, please click this offer right now. If not, you will expire.
Okay, great. So, Dr. Pal, I understand now importance of good bacteria. So, one immediate thing that my brain says is move to a good diet.
Mm.
But like you said, my body is not going to like broccoli
Correct.
because I've been eating pizza.
Correct.
What is, and that I think brings me to the next topic, which is detox, right? And how long does it take? I read recently, it actually takes 2 weeks for your taste buds to reset. Your taste buds at a cellular level change the fastest, which means that today, if I like extremely sweet desserts, if I stop that for 2 weeks, I'm going to not like it anymore. It's that simple. So when it comes to gut, how long will I take to start liking broccoli?
Right. So that's the complexity of the case, because it cannot be generalized. It has to be individualized. And that is where the unique fingerprints of this gut bacteria plays a role. And for example, in 2 weeks, if you don't stop eating desserts, if you're not craving for desserts, which is a good thing, maybe you did something good before. If the same thing happened to me when I was obese, there is no way that I'm going to stop eating sweets after 2 weeks. Everybody will agree over here. There's no way, right? So you have to tone it down slowly. And then it depends about how bad the damage has been done so far. So the amount of recovery is exactly and directly proportional to the amount of damage that was done so far. Correct? So if you are, let's say that when you're a kid, your parents didn't know what to feed you healthy. And you grew up eating processed foods, eating, like high calorie, high dense foods. I'm not against sugar. It's just that simple sugar at a higher load is the problem. Then the damage has been done so far. And for me, when I had that episode, I was 34, 35. It's going to take a long time for me to like rewind and then recover. For you, you look very healthy. You look really very fit. So maybe 2 weeks might be okay for you. So everybody is different. But the key thing is everybody can change. That is the beauty of it. It needs constant reminder and subscription to my channel. No, don't worry about it. Even you don't subscribe, just eat broccoli.
So, Dr. Pal, going back to the detox, right? What is a good detox? Because I see just like diets and fad diets, I see so many different methodologies of doing a detox. Somebody says start fasting. Somebody says stop eating X, start eating Y. So what is your formula of a good detox that one could use?
So I always tell my patients is that, keep it simple. Don't make it complicated. And whatever you do in this weight loss journey or in your life health journey, it has to be sustainable and enjoyable. If you're forcing yourself to do something, you might do it for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, but not for the rest of your life. So for the detox, I always tell my patients is that you are underestimating the power of your body. Okay, you don't need anything at all. You just respect your body will love you. Your body will pour you with so much amount of love, immunity, function that you will take extra effort to take care of your body. Correct? So I always say that if you compare the body with a car, for the car, you pour oil into the engine, you clean it up. For the body, you just take advantage of it, right? The manufacturing warranty for a human being is only up to 40 years.
That's scary.
Beyond 40 years, it depends upon how good you have taken care of the product in the first 40 years.
Such a good way to put it.
Correct. It's not it's not like a everlasting thing. Correct. And then people say that, oh, you're going to live until like 100 years. If you look at my YouTube channel comments, one guy has commented that, okay, let's see how long you live. I want to live more than you and I will prove a point. I said, I don't even mind if I die tomorrow. Okay. But I have lived such a quality of life without any medications, without going to the hospital. And I made sure that imparted my health education into my kids so that I have sown something for future generation. I've done my part. So even if I die tomorrow, I'm okay. So the concept of you do all this thing to live longer should change, that you live healthier.
Healthier. Makes sense.
So when you respect your body, the body will detox everything for you. Okay? You don't need this fancy detox drinks. Colon cleanse. I can't believe that has become a big thing these days, that even as a gastroenterologist, I myself don't know how this has become mainstream, especially in California. Okay? One of my patients is asking me whether I want a colon cleanse. He comes to me for a colonoscopy, right? I say, okay, you drink this laxative. And he says, you come to my company, this is my visiting card. I will clean your colon by myself. I said, this doesn't work that way. So all this fancy things is happening because people are so desperate to find easy solutions. And I'm right here in front of you, after everybody, I'm telling you, there is no shortcut at all. You need to put in the effort no matter what. When I say effort, when I say respect your body, respect your circadian rhythm. And when you respect your circadian rhythm, that, you wake up early in the morning around sunrise, and then you move around, get exposed to sunlight like 20 to 30 minutes per day. And then, like 20 to 30 minutes of active physical activity, eat relatively, healthier foods. I'm not saying don't eat pizza. It's okay to eat pizza, but just have a conscious and mindful eating. And then, so that you don't repeat it like every day, every week, or every month. Okay. And then the key thing is you need to rest your body for minimum of 12 hours. Minimum of 12 hours. If you look at it, it's not that big of an ask. All I'm asking you is to wind down your day at 8 p.m. Stop eating at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Don't eat anything late at night. Go to bed at like 9, 10, 11. And then, wake up in the morning at 6 a.m., your body will like you. You don't need any detox. If I say this, people call me boomer uncle. So, because we don't do it, because our environment has not been designed to do this, right? Look at the nightclubs. It's called nightclubs. I propose to change the name to afternoon clubs.
I completely like that idea. I think afternoon clubs will be a big hit.
Big hit. So we have evolved in such a way. It's a good thing. Modern day practices. We don't carry this Nokia mobile anymore. We have this iPhone, Android, and everything. Always picking the good thing, dropping the bad thing will be the only way to go forward. While we are picking up the good thing, we are compromising on the health so much. I'm not worried about this generation because I think we're not going to change this generation. I'm really worried about our future generation, that we have a responsibility to become a role model for them to see going out at night, sleeping at night is not a normal thing. All I'm asking for is not to normalize this. That's it.
Makes complete sense. Dr. Pal, tell us more about toxins. I understand the difference between junk food and healthy food.
Correct.
That's very simple. But I think there's more to the toxins that we put in than just using junk food. Can you tell us a little bit more about, you said processed food, and then you used the word ultra processed
Correct.
food. And then there's modified food. So if you could just tell us a little bit about toxins that we need to stay away from.
A bird's eye view of this is that a general statement. Anything comes under a package, you stay away from it. I tell this analogy to my patients with fatty liver that when you are tearing anything, remember that you're tearing a piece of your liver.
Tell us more why and how do you differentiate between processed and ultra processed?
Correct. So anything that is not available in regular food forms. So for example, let's say milk. Okay, you have to heat it. So when you heat it, it becomes processed. And then, let's say you need to refrigerate few food, bake few food. So not all processed foods are bad. That's what I'm trying to say. There is something called, because not all foods can be consumed as it is. It has to be coated or it has to be done in some way. Ultra processed is the problem. With ultra processed, what they do is, it's an industrialized revolution. Okay, so they remove the bran, they remove the germ layer of the wheat, and then they just served as maida. The reason for that is that you can produce in mass scale, you can extend the shelf life a lot. On the top of it, it is very tasty. Correct? They check all the boxes for a good business model for both, for their company and also for me. as a doctor.
Yeah, and I think wheat is a classic example of, milk, wheat, something that was needed mass production across the world. I think it's modified to a certain
Correct.
level
Correct.
and I think that's why a lot of times we wonder why our ancestors never faced gluten intolerance.
Correct.
However, a lot of people, even in India now, which was not very common before, now face gluten intolerance, and they don't even realize they have it unless they reach a point in life and they stop it and they see, oh, I didn't know I could live. This is what healthy means.
Correct. Do you know which state in India has the most gluten intolerance? Punjab.
Oh.
Sacramento is where I practice, is home for Punjabis. A lot of Punjabis are there. I can believe that more than white people, celiac disease, which is an allergic response to a gluten exposure, was a white people disease. It was never an Indian disease before. In my clinic, out of 30, 40 patients a day, 20 patients have celiac from Punjabi community. All right. And I think it is not a no-brainer. I'm not surprised. And the reason is, again, became a gastroenterologist, let's focus on the gut bacteria again, right? You remember we talked about the gut bacteria, stimulates dopamine and creates the cravings. That is not the only function. It also controls your immune system. It's the lining of the gut has these immune cells, and these immune cells pick and choose which microbe is good, which microbe is bad, and then when it is bad, it just expels it out. Okay, and these bacteria produces these enzymes. These enzymes are the main reason to suppress the immunity. So these enzymes will stimulate the immunity when needed and also suppress the immunity when it is not needed. And imagine your immune system is like a hyper guy like me. Keeps talking, needs to do something. Okay, he cannot stand still. Imagine that. Okay, you need somebody to dampen that enthusiasm, like my wife. Which is a good thing because you need to control. Okay, you need to control setting. That is what T regulator cell does. There are two cells, T cells and T regulator, and both of them are controlled by this gut bacteria. And your gut bacteria is the one which picks and choose which one to choose, right? So coming back to this allergy,
so we need the good guys.
We need the Iron Man significantly. We need Iron Man, Hulk, and all these guys. Basically, we need Spider-Man when we put all these webs around, and then webs should trap all these good gut bacteria. So when you have good gut bacteria, what it does is, it does this delicate seesaw balance very well. Very, very well. The problem is, while we are growing up in the last 10 to 20 years, when was the last time you saw kids playing in dirt? What are they playing in? They're playing in dirt, but not actual dirt, on the dirt game, while they're riding a bike on the iPad.
I know, it's sad. I completely understand what you're saying.
So when you're exposed to the dirt, that's where you get all these like good gut bacteria. So there is something called hygiene hypothesis, where over-sanitized environments prevents the growth of good gut bacteria, prevents the diversity of the bacteria. And I strongly believe that that is one of the reasons for this rapid prevalence of autoimmune diseases like celiac disease, inflammatory bowel disease, and all those things.
So now we need the good guys. We understand we'll have to eat healthy. Let's move to other ways of getting the good guys, right? I see a lot of brands throwing probiotic products at me, whether they are tablets or supplements or sometimes even drinks. How useful are they? And do you recommend someone trying to restore their gut bacteria to use them?
Right. So the gut bacteria doesn't require a lot of things, right? So to get a good bacteria, we talked about it, right? So we want good sleep, 7 hours of sleep, 30 minutes of physical activity per day, and high fermented foods per day, like curd, idli, dokla. You like dokla?
I love dokla.
Absolutely, all fermented foods and high fiber. All right, and then avoiding antibiotics as much as possible, avoiding unprocessed food. Very simple things. Okay. There are only 2 rules that I tell my patients when they ask about probiotics. Rule number 1, follow the 6 things that I told you. Okay. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. Right? If you cannot follow rule number 1, then even God doesn't know which probiotic supplement to give you.
Dr. Pal, this is my personal experience. Whenever I have taken probiotic supplements, sometimes I have faced the opposite of what I am expecting. And then I read up and I realized that it is so complicated. Like you said, right? Every person has their own unique combination of 1 trillion bacteria in the gut. And here is a generic probiotic in a bottle. And this might not suit your combination, right? So I moved to trying multiple and hoping that one would suit.
Absolutely. That's what you should do. That's what you should do. Provided you cannot follow rule number 1. If you're following rule number 1, you don't need all this. And then, can you imagine trying all these different trial and error methods? It's expensive. These guys are not cheap.
Very expensive.
And I have a feeling, I did a video on this that, they say that this brand contains like 1 billion lactobacillus bacteria. And then there is a competing brand that says there are 2 billion lactobacillus bacteria. And obviously you choose 2 billion, right? There were 2 things that was wrong. Number 1, it was not 2 billion. Actually, when you look into the bacteria, it was not 2 billion at all. It was only 2 million. Okay? The second thing is, it was not the bacteria at all.
There was sugar with some flavor.
No, there was no bacteria at all because there was no bacteria at all. I'm not even kidding. It's 2 million. It is just like a complex carbs and everything that they have put it together. There is no company to regulate this. There is no FDA to regulate this because they cannot regulate. So unless it is a reputed company or, sometimes there is a third party company where they can actually evaluate and then they, this brand, Dr. Pal's probiotic has 2 billion lactobacillus, then they evaluate and they say, yeah, okay, good. This Dr. Pal, whatever he's saying, it makes sense. But there are so many other things. Dr. Pal's bifidobacterium species is another bacteria, has 2 billion bacteria. There are 2 things that is wrong. One, there is no bifidobacteria, and 2, there is no Dr. Pal.
I didn't know the problem was that big. I thought maybe there are bacteria, but my gut is not absorbing them. It's not suiting me and all of those issues. But a bottle not having bacteria is another level.
Another level. Because it's not regulated. And if I say that, they are saying that, you are coming against industry and all those things. But that's the truth. That is the truth. That this industry is not regulated. What should happen is there is this national genomic study that's going on, which started from 2008. They are encoding this 100 trillion bacteria in a species to find out what are all the good bacteria that is needed and what are all the bad bacteria that is listed. Nobody knows it as of now. And remember, the Human Genomic Project that took $1 billion expense to list down everything. And I told you that we're only 8 billion people. There are 100 trillion genes, right? So imagine how long it's going to take. It's going to take, but this probiotic business is going to play a role, not right now. I would anticipate at least a decade from now to actually get some more information regarding, which bacteria is actually helpful for which patient. Lactobacillus might be good for you, but maybe not for me. But regardless, it's good for the company.
So, Dr. Pal, moving into this processed food industry again, right? There are 3 ingredients, salt, sugar, and fat, that really, I think, 3 input to creating addiction, right? And all of us are getting addicted to these things because of these ingredients. So, tell us more about how to not fall in trap. And I think how to understand from healthy from unhealthy, because there's this new craze, especially in India, of healthy snacks, healthy processed food that has come in, which is not very, a generation before. Our parents never
gave all these packaged
gave
foods.
all this. Everything was made at home, but now suddenly it's all coming into India. So I think it's a very good time to talk about how these 3 ingredients are harmful and create addiction.
So, there is a thing that sugar is bad. Okay. I take a different stance on it. Sugar is not bad. the way that you are consuming the sugar is bad. Right. So, for example, thank you for the filter coffee, amazing. But let's say we create this concept that, okay, sugar is bad, right? So, I would not have added sugar in this coffee, which means that in my mind, I am putting an extra effort to be healthy. And I'm pretty sure the sugar in this coffee has made that coffee to the next level, that I am completely satisfied with this coffee. But let's say that I push myself that, okay, sugar is bad and don't drink it, then I have this constant willpower utilization. And that might be tested at wrong times and wrong levels and wrong severity levels as well. So the concept of labeling sugar bad has to tone down a little bit. It's about the conception of how much. That's the thing. And we also have to teach our kids what is simple sugar and what is complex sugar. Correct? So how do we teach, good touch, bad touch to our kids, right? So we need to teach good food, bad food as well. So I teach my kids all the time that, I ask, he has a Lay's chips in hand. I say, what is this? He says it's is it good or bad? He says bad. And then he starts eating it.
No one can eat just one.
No one can eat just one. Right? So it's not that you need to stay away from all this. Yes, absolutely. You need to taste it. Life is about to enjoying to the fullest. I'm all up for it. I always have this quote that, YOLO. Yeah, you only live once. You could do YOLO if you are solo.
Okay.
That's deep.
It is deep.
It's deep. If you have a family, if you have kids surrounding you, it's your damn responsibility to be, alive at least when they turn 18. Because you see all these WhatsApp message forwards that, young spouse being left alone when the other spouse is dead. Because of some unavoidable reasons, okay, but avoidable reasons, including the lifestyle changes. So treating sugar, salt, and fat bad might not be the right thing to do. It depends upon how we create that outlook about it is okay to include in moderation. At the same time, how do we focus on the healthy foods?
And how do we, like you said, consume it in the right way, right?
So, as we talked about before, when anything comes in the package, your bacteria is not going to like it. So, for example, let's say, there is this healthy snack in US. I'm pretty sure it's over here as well. There is this dried figs and then they wrap up in small biscuits and they put in a package. And then they say, oh, figs are a lot of fiber. Dried kiwis. Oh, kiwi is good for you. Kiwi is good for you in its natural form. Not when it is broken up into chips coated with sugar and then has a packet and then it says healthy. They are saying healthy because of the slightest amount of fiber that it has. But nobody cares about that extra added sugars that is available. A kid can have only 25 grams of added sugar per day. If you look at that packet, I can't believe this is happening. There's just five chips, right? Has 8 sugars, 8 grams. Right? So, and then it creates the same kind of, we talked about the same frequency of bad bacteria, dopamine, vicious cycle. He eats more 10 next. Then this 8 grams turns out to be 16 grams. And he completes the whole packet. The day added sugar is done. And what happens when somebody is giving an actual healthy food? There is no room for extra sugar. Your insulin is dampened up already. How much will your insulin work? Insulin is not the husband to keep on working after getting the scoldings multiple times. So this is what is happening at a bigger level. And if you give some thought to it, I'm not worried about for the next 10 years, 20 years. At 2045, all these young kids who are like 5 years, 10 years old now, they're going to have the biggest boom of diabetes, heart disease, and stress-related things if we don't change now. And that is the education that we need to keep doing. That go for real foods. Whole foods that your bacteria likes. Your bacteria doesn't like packaged foods.
So, Dr. Pal, we have a lot of food here.
I could see.
Food that you might not like. But we took like some very basic food that is commonly consumed, not just by adults, by kids here. And we realize that reading labels of these food is very, very difficult. So I have here, and I have given you those cards as well, is label of common brands that manufacture these foods. And the idea here is not to defame a brand or name a brand. The idea here is can we create awareness among people on how to read labels? So when they have brand A versus brand B, they can actually read labels and pick a slightly better version of what they're picking. That's the objective.
Super.
All right. So I'll pick the first one, which is Bhujia Save. I think a lot of Diwali time, a lot of this is seen here. So let's go to the Bhujia.
Okay, aloo bhujia.
Yep. Tell us, what does the ingredient label say? Is there something which is really calls out for? And
Right. So if you look at this, it says per 100 grams. Okay, if you eat 100 grams, that gives you energy of like 584 calories. You'll be surprised how much is 100 gram. What do you think that would be? Just an estimated guess. The bhujia in that small bowl.
I would actually think that is 100 gram.
Yes, close to. It'll be easily close to.
Because you are asking me right now. On a normal day, I would finish an entire packet, not thinking about 100 grams.
So yeah, it'll be. You'll be surprised not only with this. In general, any kind of foods, especially rice, you'll be really surprised how much amount of cooked rice, the weighing, the amount of carbs that we take is significantly higher than what we actually need. So there is this general discrepancy between what we eat and the amount of food that.
So what do you think is the culprit here? Is it the sugar or?
Right. So energy itself is pretty high for 584 calories. And then protein is 10 grams, which is good. So protein is a good ingredient. So we always say that you need to have 1 gram per kilogram of protein per day. So for example, let's say you weigh like 70 kilos. You look like you're weighing 7 kilos, but I'm just saying.
It's okay. You can even.
You're weighing like 70 kilos. You need 70 grams of protein per day, right?
Got it.
And then the key thing that really stands out is the total fat, and it's 41 grams. That's pretty high. Okay, so other thing that people need to remember is, every food can be divided into 3 different categories: carbs, proteins, and fats. 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So more than 2 times the amount of calories that you do. So in this, if you look at this, the biggest thing is carbohydrate of 42 grams and the fat of 42 grams. Both are same, and protein is very minimal. And there is some comment on dietary fiber, which means there's fiber is 0. So if you want to take one thing out of this episode, you cannot have a dish when there is no fiber.
That's a very good point. I think I will be really surprised if anything here has fiber. Let's move on. Let's move on to the healthiest, according to me here, is a paratha. Let's look at that label.
Paratha. People are confused that they're trying to explain me to describe a family tree. How it is linked together.
Yeah, I agree. Parota and paratha, whatever it is, has its own name in everywhere, but is everywhere.
Everywhere. So, if you look at this, first of all, number 1 is it's in package. Okay. So number 2 is again the same thing. Look at this. The carbohydrate is 42. The fat is pretty high, more than the protein. And if you keep reading through all this, the ingredients: maida, edible oil, which is palm oil. There is a controversy about whether palm oil is good or not. But in general, again, bringing back to the same concept of 100 grams of parota is giving you 335 calories. I think that one thing would be 335 easily. One parota that you have.
Isn't that how much a meal should be?
So for a day, if you want to maintain where you are, on an average, it's 2000 calories per day. on average.
Correct.
Okay. It could be differ based on, let's say you are sedentary, you are not working at all, then it might be only 1500. So usually we eat 3 parotas. I mean, usually. And then, what do we eat for sabji? Maybe like chana masala. So 3 into 335 is 1000 right there.
That's like half of my day
Half
done.
of your day is done.
Oh my God.
But after this, usually it is being accompanied by vanilla ice cream and gulab
Oh my
jamun.
God. Well, let's not get there. Okay. Let's go to this, right? All sorts of chips and sticks, and the interesting thing is that the packet of this says healthy vegetable snack.
Huh.
Right now, can I give this to my kid? Tell me more about the label here.
Yeah. So the healthy, I think the healthy is because they have somehow squeezed 2 grams of fiber into it.
Okay, so this has fiber.
Okay, because it says dietary fiber 2.5.
That's true.
Correct. But look at the fat, 23 grams. Again, look at the energy calories, 495. Are you kidding me? 495 in this 100 grams of thing. And, this looks big, but when you open, 50% is only air. The remaining 15% is only this much, right? That's 100 grams easily. So when you eat this, again, it's 500 calories. I'm not even talking about all the ingredients that is being listed here, right? Look at this refined wheat flour. So rule of thumb is, if the ingredient list is more than 10, your gut bacteria might not like it.
Wow. I think this is like such a long ingredient list that I don't even know how to read it.
Correct.
Right? And I think that's a good rule.
Yeah.
Long ingredient list.
Long ingredient
itself
list.
is a red flag.
It's a red flag. Correct. Correct.
Okay, here's is a biscuit that everybody eats. They start their morning with their chai and 2 biscuits.
Absolutely. I have eaten it as well.
So let's go to that.
So the problem with these biscuits and everything is, biggest problem is carbs, because these are refined maida. Again, we talked about this. They extend the shelf life, and the biggest thing is they check all the 3 boxes. They refine it and they extend the half-life, and it is tasty. And that is the key thing. That is where they are creating that possible addiction. Correct. So in this ingredient list, if you look at it again, look at that carbohydrate is 72 grams. Again, it is 465 kilocalories.
I have one question here, right? Let's say I see 2 packets of biscuit, one which is normal, the second that says sugar-free. What is a better choice?
So there can never be sugar-free. It can never be sugar-free because you need to compensate that with something else, right? So I told you carbohydrates, protein and fat. If you're going down on sugar, you have to increase something, correct? And that most likely will be fat. And coming back to the previous discussion, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, which is more than 2.5 times the calorie given by carbohydrates. So it is better that you actually give sugar.
Wow.
So it's complicated. I know I'm generalizing it, but just a general
but I
thought
get it.
is,
Sugar-free doesn't mean that it's
correct.
healthy.
Exactly.
I think that's what the
concept.
takeaway.
Correct. That's the concept. Correct.
Let's move to the drink, right? Here's a drink, and trust me, we listed all brands that give something like an orange juice or a mango juice, and pick the one that claims to be the healthiest of all. So the label that you have is the healthiest of all that's available in India. Now it says that 250 ml, which is 1 glass, has 115 kilocalories.
So right off the bat, I can say you that this is the best drink out there because look at the added sugars, it is 0.
Yeah.
I don't see an orange juice without added sugar at all. Okay. If they have brought that down to 0, they're doing something right. Okay. So this is the number 1.
Okay. So added sugar is an important
correct
input to look at.
But
But then this total sugar, which is 21 grams. Which means that that's sugar that innately comes from other ingredients.
Correct. So again, it's simple sugar. So this is not the sugar that your bacteria wants. This is the sugar that gets absorbed in small intestine even before going into the large intestine.
Got it.
Okay,
So if I eat an apple and the sugar in the apple is good for my
exactly.
But I've put a spoon of sugar in my drink.
Correct.
That's
correct. Because plant-based fruits and vegetables have this circle around it. You know Abhimanyu from Mahabharata, where he shields everything. So that's a shield, Abhimanyu shield around this complex carbs. So it doesn't get digested as it passes small intestine. For the bacteria to break it open, Abhimanyu's key is inside the colon.
Got it. Okay, so I think relatively,
But usually in this thing, I don't know, it says ingredients, the company's brand name, and then it says, oh, Valencia. Valencia is not the company's brand name because Valencia oranges.
yeah,
It's an orange. It's a type of orange. It's available in US.
yeah. It's
So the problem
name
is,
of the-
look at this. It says juice.
hmm.
It's not the fruit. That's the key. So that's where they're playing with.
Let's go to the healthiest claiming a protein bar. What do you think about protein bars?
Protein bars, in my opinion, I stick to the same concept that it comes with a package, so it is not that good. But protein is an absolutely important thing, especially when you are doing this time restricted eating. You lose weight, but you need to make sure that you meet your protein content so that you don't lose your muscle mass. Being a vegetarian, it's very difficult to get protein source to meet your requirement every day. So in that situation, I tell my patients that it is okay to use protein bars provided there are not much ingredients added. Again, not more than 4 or less than 10. Again, sugars or should be less and everything.
Yeah, so this protein bar has added sugar 2 gram with and total sugar 11 gram. Is that okay?
So the biggest thing that from a gastroenterologist standpoint, I always look at fiber. So dietary fiber 6 grams is pretty good.
Okay.
So they've done something right. If you look at the ingredients list, that is where the problem is. It is easily like 25 ingredients. So it doesn't check the box of less than 10. So I would be a little bit wary about it. I might not use this on a daily basis, but let's say when I don't have any protein intake, I might use it occasionally.
Okay. Let's go to this one, right? This is extremely it's some trending drink. It's caffeinated. What do you see here is scary?
So the scary is the ingredients. Obviously, the calorie might be pretty high as well. Look at that. So in the other thing is the first 4 ingredient goes by the amount of percentage that is being added. So for example, in this carbonated water would be the top one. Second one is sugar. You have to add sugar to make this a successful product. If you just say carbonated water, nobody's going to buy this.
So after water, sugar is the highest
Ingredient in this list. Correct? I would have been better, they have taurine, preservatives, sweeteners. You have sugar and sweeteners. And you have synthetic food colors. I mean, if you look from a bird's eye view, all the things in this is bad. Right? But again, you cannot live a life without drinking all this. But in general, when you analyze the product, within the first 4 ingredient, if there is sugar, then there is significant amount of sugar in the product.
I think that's how I'm going to conclude it. I think I would start with 1. Every time you tear a package, ask yourself, do you really need to eat this? Can this be avoided?
Correct.
Can I leave the packet here and pick a banana?
Correct.
For example.
Correct.
Number 2, if that's not possible and you have to open a packet, try to read the label and understand
Correct.
it. Look at the first 4 ingredients. Sugar should not be in that first 4 because then sugar
preferably.
is not.
But you will not find a product like that. So it's better within the 4, maybe you could have, sugar 3rd and 4th.
But
So
not
maybe
as this first
not
and
as the
second.
first and second.
Okay. Got it. And look for more fiber content
Correct.
in the food.
Correct. Yeah. Treat your gut bacteria good. It will treat you back even better.
Good outcome of this exercise.
Oh, good. Now, who's going to eat all this?
Weird. I'm definitely, after this chat, I'm definitely not going to eat, at least for some time.
So I'll eat it. I'll taste everything. So the concept again is that we are not saying to avoid all this.
Moderation.
And the word moderation has been used a lot these days as well. They say moderation.
100 gram is not moderation.
They say 1 pizza. So if you look at my YouTube channel, I do reels, right? So I say, you could eat 1 pizza once a month. And you could say, 1 tandoori chicken masala once a month. Something like that. So I keep on going. And then if you actually calculate it, you could eat 1 bad item every day. So the amount of food availability is so much that this moderation has to be explained, and that has to be individualized, and then your family has to make a decision about it.
We got to know about your friend Sarvana Kumar
Right.
from your channel, who is living the modern life, has that lifestyle that a modern human being today faces, and has a lot of gut issues, right? So for all Sarvana Kumars out there that are listening to us, what are your sort of key takeaways that you want them to have from this chat? If you could just share those tips.
Sure. Sarvana Kumar is the main success for my channel. Thanks to him. He was a friend, which means that after
Now he's
not
not.
anymore. So key takeaways is that number one, we need to stop abusing our body. We need to stop taking advantage of the body. So we need to respect our circadian rhythm, number one. And number two is, how do we do that? Is, again, nothing fancy. Stick to the basic. Wake up early in the morning when the sun rises, and then go out. There is this thing I think we didn't discuss. I'm pretty sure this is very popular here as well. In South India, when I grew up, every housewife will have to go out, look at the sun, do similar to doing a Surya Namaskar, but they also do something called kolam, which means they do decoratives right in front of their house. Okay, and they thought this was just a ritual. It's not a ritual. There's a scientific evidence behind it. When you go out, when you get exposed to the sunlight, that is where all your active cortisol hormone is getting woken up. So that's why they say, but what we're doing right now, we are actually sleeping. When we wake up, we look into sun, but not outside, sun TV on the phone.
And then that morning is sometimes at 9 a.m.
Morning at 9 a.m.
Sun TV at 9 a.m.
I'm asking people now to go to bed 2 hours before sunset. 2 hours after sunset. But people are going to bed 2 hours before sunrise. I'm not even making it up. So that has to change. Okay. So you need to wake up around the sun rises, go out, get at least 20 to 30 minutes of sunlight. I did a 90-day challenge in my channel. The first week I said 30 minutes of workout per day, right? Everybody started tagging me. Workout, Dr. Pal. Thank you so much for motivation. Look at this. I'm lifting barbell weights. I'm lifting this. I'm walking. I'm running. Thank you so much for the motivation. This is the best thing ever happened to me. The second thing I said, this week, you're going to go out and look at the sun. That video got 10 views. And all the 10 is me.
They were too busy watching your content middle of the night.
Because this concept has not been ingrained in our, like, this doesn't look sexy, this doesn't look attractive. What is going to happen when you go outside, when you go to expose to sunlight? So many things are happening, including your gut bacteria, which is responsible for your digestion, wakes up in the morning as well.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
So I think we need to go out in the sun and feel that at every cellular level, we need to wake up, and that's going to happen when the sunlight
Absolutely. So third thing is just get exposed to minimum 20 minutes of direct sunlight. Looking through the window doesn't count. Now,
and the sunlight needs to be early in the morning?
Early in the morning.
Yeah, which is during...
No, what I'm saying is you need to wake up your active digestive hormones, right? It has to be early in the morning. As soon as you wake up, don't look at anything. You just go directly outside, and then you do anything else. Looking into your phone is the worst thing that could ever do as soon as you wake up. So the fourth thing is, during the day, while you're eating, we covered, right? We woke up, we started eating. Now we are on the critical phase where the sun sets. This is where you should have your dinner. All right. And after the dinner, you should dim all your lights. Okay. Create that melatonin in your body. Basically, I tell my patients is that create a 5-star restaurant in your house after sunset.
I learned this concept or importance of rather dimming down lights when I had a baby. Because I read about sleep and how to sleep train the baby. And that's when I put blackout curtains, because I said, okay, we need, like, if the baby has to sleep at 8 p.m., we need darkness in the house at 7 p.m. But
so the baby is sleeping very well, but you are awake.
Yes. Watching content after he sleeps.
So then the melatonin will stay. So how the life is coming back as a full circle, right? So, in five-star restaurant, they are having a candlelight dinner, and that is what you need. And they are having this leftover rice, which is a food that we used to give it for beggars when we grew up. And we did not appreciate the importance of that at that time. And now we are eating pizza, burger, and we are giving leftover rice to underprivileged people, where the leftover rice is the first appetizer in a five-star restaurant. I'm not even making it up. So we have to start appreciating all these things, small things. And this five-star restaurant will be done after 9-10 p.m. That's it. And then the restaurant is open only the next day morning.
Sounds perfect. Sounds so simple, but I'm sure so powerful.
Very powerful. Very difficult to follow, especially with the atmosphere around you. So I always say that you need to change yourself first, your spouse next if you're married, on your parents and your kids next. It has to be local first, then it has to go to a community, then it has to go to a state, then national, then international. You know what is my goal is? My goal is to decrease 30% of my medical business by 2030.
Wow. I love that. And you're doing a good job by telling people the fundamentals to not reach the hospital at 40.
Correct. I'm saying don't come to me.
When the warranty gets over.
When the warranty gets over, exactly. I don't want you to see in the hospital. I'll see you outside. I don't want to see in the hospital because I want to make sure that my sleep is good. Watch my content during the day.
We have this very last segment where we have certain questions that people who follow us have sent out. I'm going to read them and we need your help to answer these questions. I'll start with the first one. Hello, Dr. Pal. I'm Raj from Indore. I'm 36-year-old and 93 kgs. I've been obese for as long as I can remember. For the last 6 months, I've been following a strict vegan diet, waking up and going to sleep on time. Also working out for an hour. Still, I have only lost 3 kgs. Can you help me understand why I'm struggling so much to lose my weight?
See, there were 2 things that he didn't mention. The number 1 is sleep. So he was saying that, did he mention about sleep?
He said, I've been waking up and sleeping on time. Yeah.
So sleeping on time is, maybe he's sleeping well, but the sleeping on time is not the same as the good sleep quality. That's a key thing. And then number 2 is, if you're finding it hard to lose weight, then that's a problem with your gut bacteria. That is where the thing that we talked about might have to repopulate and then see how we can create a good environment for the good gut bacteria so that will help you in losing weight. And the other thing is patience. Again, it is exactly directly proportional to the amount of damage that you have done so far. So you cannot expect a 30-year damage to get recovered in 3 months. It might take a lot
longer. I am a mother of 2 years old and I weigh 46 kg. My height is 158 centimeter. My baby is also of right height but weighs only 10 kg. She eats all healthy foods but she's underweight. She's very active kid but the pediatrician says it's genetic that she doesn't gain weight. Any suggestions to break this barrier and increase her weight?
Yeah, so we need to break the thought process of the parents here. Okay, Indian parents pour emotions in terms of food, right?
That's so true.
And they always want their kids to be, plumpy and chubby. Even including my mom, when I was pretty big, my mom was like, now you look like a doctor.
And all the effort goes in just sort of overfeeding.
Yesterday we were in a mall. The small kid is playing in a kids play area. This mother has a small box. I don't know what she had. Every time that the kid comes down the slide, this mother walks to the slide, feeds, goes back. And this kid goes back again to the slide. I said, what is happening? And then that guy is so chubby. Pediatric obesity is going to be the next level. in the 10 years. We are seeing so much pediatric fatty liver these days. And then the most common thing that people say is, oh, my kid is not gaining weight at all. I was like, what, this guy? This guy is not gaining weight. Because they love their kids so much that anything can happen to them, but nothing can happen to their kid. Their kid has to be chubby, plumpy, and that's the sign of health. Number one, give it some time. All these underweight people, they will catch up. Number one. Number two, just because that your kid is not gaining weight, don't feed them all these unhealthy snacks. That's okay. They will catch up. This is a better way to look at that. This is the time that I'm going to populate all the good gut bacteria, and that will help him or her 10 years down the road, rather than focusing on making him bigger. I'm giving you a way and solution to make him stronger.
I'm trying to do a 16-hour fasting window. However, I have to take my thyroid tablets after dinner. How can I follow fasting and also take my medicines?
Okay to take tablets during fasting window.
I'm trying to cut back on my junk food consumption. So I wanted to ask, is it true that eating small amounts of healthy snacks frequently, for example, 5 almonds every 2 hours, will actually make you less hungry?
There are research says that small and frequent meals can help to cut down the cravings and also to cut down the hunger. It is something like a trial and error method. I'm not against it, but in my method, what I promote to my patients, I say no to snacks at all. So the concept is that you don't want the insulin to just get bumped, and not only insulin, just the digestive hormones to get bumped each and every time you eat.
So you would recommend breakfast, lunch?
I would recommend just lunch and dinner. And then breakfast is okay as well. I mean, I'm not recommending to skip breakfast. I basically say, listen to your body. If you're hungry, you eat.
Hi, doctor. I'm Ria from Mumbai. My husband and I are both in our 30s and we've recently started working out and eating healthy food. However, my husband seems to get in shape faster than me. Is it the diet? Should the diet for women and men be different, or is it some other underlying issues?
So I don't want to create a family problem here. But she has a point. It takes a lot of time for women. Again, coming back to the same concept of circadian rhythm, that women's hormones are complex. We men are very simple. We only have testosterone. You have estrogen, progesterone, testosterone as well. It has to, the orchestra that we talked about before has to be synchronized even more for women compared to men.
Yeah. And I think just the metabolism levels, the way metabolism works in men and women also is...
Correct. And as an Indian community, we are changing now. But if you look back so far, it has always, the entire family has been burdened. I mean, the burden of the entire family falls on the lady. Yeah.
I'm not a chain smoker, but have the occasional 2 to 3 cigarettes every other day. I'm trying to cut back on the habit. Can you help me with some motivation by telling me what all complications will happen due to smoking? Oh my God.
Smoking causes pancreatic cancer, and you will never know until it hits, and the lifespan is only 6 months. And I deal with this on a daily basis. I don't know what else to motivate you.
I think a lot of people forget how harmful smoking is. So I think
smoking is one main thing. I say, if you want to choose between smoking and alcohol, choose alcohol. I mean, doesn't mean that you need to drink alcohol.
I was just thinking in my head that this could...
Okay, let's go for a drink.
Yeah. The guy would keep his packet and say, let's go for a drink. And then it's like, while I'm having alcohol, ek to chalta hai. Everyone says that we should stop drinking completely. There comes the next question. But it's a way of connecting socially. And most of the time, people drink under peer pressure. So how bad is it for my health to have an occasional drink?
Occasional drink is okay. But we need to really define the term what occasional is.
Just like moderation.
Correct. It cannot be like on a daily basis, weekly basis. The problem with alcohol is that I'm not even worried about addiction and all those things. That is a separate problem. Alcohol disturbs your circadian rhythm like crazy. All the thing that I told about melatonin releasing at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., growth hormone peaking up at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. will never happen when you're having a drink at night. So that is the major problem. And in US, you will be surprised that each and every person, men, women, doesn't matter, drinks a cup of wine before going to bed, along with dinner. I'm maybe only 90%, I would say. Every patient coming to me, I would say that, okay, stop eating early, right? I said, don't eat late at night. They'll be like, how about my wine? I said, what? You're drinking wine as well? So, wine is something that is pretty common. So that is why gastroenterology business is so good in US.
Good for you.
Good for me. And I keep telling them, don't drink at all. And that is something that culturally that they are so acclimatized to. I am scared that we might adopt that pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I think India has a lot of other problems. I hardly saw anybody smoking in the US when I had gone there. So I think they are a little...
Smoking happens, but not in public places that much. Smoking do happen. They are a little advanced in multiple levels. Marijuana, cocaine, amphetamine, LSD. We see this all the time. Because they come in with vomiting blood, because their liver is like completely damaged because of constant alcohol use. And then I'm the person who be called in to control that bleeding in the stomach. So we deal with these patients on a daily basis. And that is being more common in Indian patients as well.
Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Pal. I think those were the questions that I had.
Super.
I had a very entertaining session.
Oh, thank you.
And a very informative session.
Thank you.
But I had to say entertaining before informative because I didn't expect that from a gastroenterologist.
Right.
So thank you so much for being an interesting doctor.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope that people find this episode really, really useful and really go back to the simple, free things that they could do in their life to really solve for their gut rather than running towards buying more products and solving.
Right. No, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And we all discussed like very simple things as well. But I want to bring this thing just as a pitch in from my end as well. That in my channel, I focus on humor as a tool to deliver medical information. And in my experience so far, it's extremely difficult to write the comical angle. Medical script is so easy. It's so easy. But I realized that when a person sitting in Sacramento can do a video and a person all the way southernmost part of India, Kanyakumari, sending me a letter saying that I lost weight because of you, really makes the satisfaction level to a different level. That keeps me going. So then I realized that, okay, humor is a way that we can combine to deliver medical information. And that's why I came up with this term called Medcom shows. Medical comedy show is something that I'm trying to implement to reach my goal of 30% of my business to be lost by 2030. I need to reach 1% of my population, subscribers. So which is close to 2 million subscribers now combined. So like close to 20,000 people. So for that, I'm conducting shows once or twice a month based on my availability. So in this show, I talk about my weight loss journey, to talk about all these things, but in a multiple crowd interaction way. Who's the most popular stand-up comedian in North?
In here?
In here, northern part of India.
There are
so many, right?
So many. Biswa.
Biswa. It's Biswa's amazing.
I like
so
Biswa.
Yeah, imagine me as a low budget Biswa. I'll be coming to Mumbai next year, so I will
be attending your show.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Pal. I hope by bringing you here, our subscribers will help you achieve your life's goal
Thank you.
of getting healthier. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks a lot.